An incredible checkmate that I witnessed, and I'm so glad I recorded it live. Let's check it out. Bullet chess is one of the most exciting forms of the game. Both sides have 1 minute each on the clock. Heisenberg 01 takes on Magnus Carlsen in this game. Heisenberg is a FIDE Master from Turkey. His name is Dinçer Taşdöğen. Timestamps are below for you to move around the video. Part 1 is the opening theory, but part 2 is the live recording. There will be a beautiful, brilliant checkmate in this game, so stick around until the end. If it's your first time here, hello, my name is William. For any Turkish fans out there, Merhaba, benim adım William. For any Norwegian fans out there, hello, jeg heter William. e4, g6, we have the modern defense. Knight c3, bishop g7, d4, c6. With this pawn move, black plans to strike in the center with d5, and that's exactly what happens. In this position, there are many options. Let me discuss every arrow. White has a few options. You can take, push, or play h3, which we're going to see in the game. Now, what's happening for black? Well, he's got 2 pawns in the center. He's got a bishop slicing the board, attacking d4. And if this file opens up, the queen is also attacking d4. This bishop may come out to put pressure on this pawn. That's why white's next move is actually h3, to stop black getting this bishop out. Well, let's consider if you capture. Well, after this capture, it's not a great option because now white only has 1 center pawn. Black has 2. In this kind of position, I would say white has no advantage, so you don't really want to do that. Another option is actually e5, which looks great because you're blocking this bishop. But how can black react? He can play f6. With this move, you attack the center. One option is to develop the knight out this way. And this bishop, it can come out to g4 if your opponent doesn't play h3. So these are all possible moves, all ways for black to handle this position. But in the game, after knight f3, d5, h3 is played by Carlsen. We have a capture in the center. Black is ready to castle, he just has to get that knight out of the way. So he plays knight f6. Now we have a capture. Take, take. It is very unusual to have 4 pawns in front of your king. So I want to show you quickly 2 different openings where there are 4 pawns. The Caro-Kann and the Petrov defense. So firstly, let's go to the Caro. e4, c6. d4, d5, knight c3, very similar to what we saw before. Take, take, and now knight f6. Take, take, and here we have it. We got 4 pawns. So how is this different compared to what we're going to see in the game, the modern defense? After c3, black can actually get his bishop out this way, rather than in the game, where black puts his bishop on g7. Bishop d6, bishop d3, and castle. The other opening with 4 pawns in front of your king is the Petrov defense. e4, e5, knight f3, knight f6. Take. Black kicks the knight away first, drop the knight back, and after knight e4, knight c3. So it is white who's going to get 4 pawns in front of his king. Take, take. Bishop comes out, and then this bishop can come out here. Knight c6, queen d2, white is ready to castle. Black might even castle queenside as well. He can choose. It is unusual to get 4 pawns in front of your king. Knight f6 played, take, take, and bishop c4. Castle, castle. One disadvantage to this system is that on the queen side, white has 4 pawns, black has 3. White has a queenside majority. This will be an asset for white in the endgame, but we are very far away from that point. Knight d7, 2 options. The knight can go to b6 to hit the bishop, but it can also go to d5. Bishop tucks back to b3, and now b5. If you get this position, you may want to play these moves as white. You might go c3, so then you get a pawn chain. Every pawn defends each other in the center. You may want to go a4 to attack black's structure. This bishop, you can park itself on f4, and rooks belong on open files. a4 was played by Magnus to challenge the structure, knight b6 played, and after take, take, we have rook e1. Now let's discuss this position with black. If you get this position with black, you may want to try these moves. Let's turn the board round. Bishop belongs on this diagonal, facing the king. This pawn may go to a6 to defend b5, or it can go a5, a4. Later, this pawn can go to f5, so then this bishop is in the game. And just like white's rook, Black's rook also belongs on an open file. In a perfect world, this queen, you can park itself on d5, facing the king, once this bishop has gone out the way. So many options for black. Part 1 of the video is now over. Let's go to part 2, the live recording of this bullet game between Carlsen and Heisenberg. Let's see what happens. And this guy has beaten Carlsen a few times. Knight f6, he might take. Bishop c4 again, interesting. This setup again. He did something different against Naroditsky, which I'll attach as a link to the description below. It's going to be, I've made this video already. Knight d2, knight e4, knight c5. So he stops it with f5, cool. Knight f1, queen d5 is there. Bishop f4, look at this dynamic structure. As well as this, as queen d5 as well. Whoa, look how dynamic is this. All this tension. Things feel like they're going to get hoovered off. You can't do this because that knight is actually hanging. So you might threaten mate. That's cool because rook e3 is there. Bishop d3, attack the pawn. Queen d7, defending it. You may not want to go to queen d5 at the moment because even though it faces the king side, you go bishop e4. Then the bishops come off. You've got rid of black's very active bishop. That's why Heisenberg, he played queen d7. Knight d2, planning to reroute e4 to c5. Now is perfect. Now is the perfect time for black to strike. He plays f5 to guard that square. Knight back to f1. Rook e8. The rooks compete against each other on the file. Pair of rooks come off, and now bishop f4. b4. Very dynamic, very active moves from black. Black has a wonderful position. Let's see what happens. Knight e3 and now a3. In this game, Heisenberg is totally outplaying Carlsen. He is really chipping away at the white structure. One option here, knight d5 was possible, just to attack both knight and bishop, and after take. I mean, check this out. That is mate. So if you bring the bishop back, you can go a3, just to really chip away at the structure. Everything is falling. So if you play a move like this, just to defend it, take. Take, and now take. Picking up the rook. a3 played. Queen b3. Take. Now you cannot take because queen takes knight. So queen c6 played, facing the pawn. But at the moment, there's a knight here. So that's why white can now grab the pawn. So this was a mistake. Knight d5 should have been played here, just like I mentioned before. You attack both, and after take. Couple of bishops just totally slicing the board. Just a beautiful position for black. Bishop can go back to f1, and we saw this before. Take. Can't take this because the queen defends it. And then bishop d4. Picking up the rook in the corner. But Heisenberg played queen c6 first. This gave Magnus a chance because he can actually take on b4. But does this allow rook takes e3? No. This was what I saw during the game, and I thought Carlsen had blundered, but no, he does not have to take with the bishop. Or else that would be mate. He actually takes back with the rook. Wow. Then we have defense along the second rank. White is now totally winning. What a turnaround. Things feel like they're going to get hoovered off. You can't do this because that knight is actually hanging. So you might threaten mate. That's cool because rook e3 is there. Rook e3. Oh my. Queen defends this. That's something else. Oh dear. Rook c5 maybe, or b5. But then knight f4, so no. Queen f2 to stop that. But then knight f4 you take with the queen. That's why you did it. Rook b1 pin. Knight d3, rook b6. So you pin there. Now out the way. Bishop c4. You face this. Now he pins. Pin. Always pinning. Pinning, winning. Knight d5. Rook c1. You attack the queen first. Queen gets out the way, putting pressure on b4. Queen f2. Really cool move because you defend this way. Knight takes f4. If you play that, then you take with the queen. That's the difference. You do not take, or else bishop takes d4 and you lose your queen. That's why Heisenberg went the other way. Knight takes b4. You attack the bishop, but doesn't mean you have to move it. Rook b1. Pinning the knight to the queen. Queen moves out of the way. Queen d2. Pin again. You don't have to move your bishop that's being attacked. Stop his pieces moving. Bishop f8. You defend that way. Bishop c4, face the king. Bishop e4, you attack the rook. Rook b2, continue to pin. Knight to the queen. Queen a1, check, king gets out the way. Knight d5, you attack the bishop. Bishop e5, perfect bishop, right in the center of the board. Knight takes e3 was played. Cool move, because if you take the knight, then queen takes rook. But pause the video now or let the timer run. Can you find an absolutely brilliant way to continue for white? The brilliant move is rook b8, stopping him moving. The knight can take the bishop, which is what happened in the game, and now was the follow-up. If you didn't see this first move, can you see the second move? How can white crash through? Straight away. The brilliant move is queen h6, and that is game over. Heisenberg resigned. There is one way to defend it, with queen a3. But that's the problem. This doesn't defend it, because white now has checkmate along the back, thanks to the rook pinning the bishop to the king. A brilliant move for white, just totally finishing it off. Have you ever seen a more beautiful checkmate? Now we're going to see the rest of the live recording. An incredible checkmate that I witnessed. And I'm so glad I recorded it live. Let's check it out. Check, king out the way, knight d5. He's still such a fighter. Wow, knight e3. Take queen, the rook hang. So you might go rook b8 and then bishop there. Queen h6. That's a move. That's a move and a half. Queen a3 is there. But then queen g7 is mate. Come on. Does he allow it? If queen a3, queen g7's mate. Ah, he resigned. Ah, that would have been one amazing mate because he pinned along the back rank. That is something else. Here is YouTube's suggestion for what to watch next, but maybe you don't like that option. If so, here is Magnus Carlsen winning in 21 seconds. I think this video goes very well with the video you just watched. Part 2 is the live recording. Part 1 is the opening theory. I think you'll really like this video. Thanks for watching.